Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy, CL Anthony, and my main man, Bryce Ward. What is going on, Bryce?
Oh, not much aside from a second kid. So
Congrats.
big deal. Yeah, thank you.
Got to keep her away from Josh Giddy. More on that later. All right.
We're
you,
not
knew,
in
you,
OKC. We're not
you
in
know,
OKC. Grady will snatch him up around here. Grady Judd will snatch him up. I'm surprised Grady Judd's not going over there to get him now.
if they travel to Florida, they're in trouble. But we'll get into that later. So, we're like a month into the season. We're going to talk about some Eastern Conference standings right now. We're going to talk about some hits and some misses. My Wizards. I'm still waiting. I'm not jumping off the ship yet.
You'll be
Um,
waiting a long time.
I'm waiting.
You wait
I'm
until next
waiting.
season.
Jordan Poole is still my MVP.
Stop. Stop.
Kyle Kuzma is my defensive player of the year. But as always, we got some shit to get into. So here we are, updated as of this morning, Eastern Conference standings. I see a couple of surprises on here that I didn't expect. I see one team that's dropping. So let me ask you, I'm going to give you the floor. Your Orlando Magic are the hottest team in the NBA right now with 6 straight wins. What is going on there?
Despite what Eddie House and some other Celtic pundits might claim in terms of the how hyped the Magic get to play against the Celtics. They're just not used to witnessing a number one defense, I guess, play against them. Because we play with that energy against every team, and that's why we have the number one defense, number two defense, depending on the analytics you look at, I guess. So that is one reason why a lot of people are calling this. I mean, it is early in the season, right? I'm not saying the Magic can hold this spot all season long, but the reason why it's not as fluky as people are making it out to be is because of how we're winning these games. It's not like we're on a hot streak shooting. We're still winning these games without the greatest offense, but it's how we're attacking these other teams and how our defense is staying steady throughout the entire game. So the other day, Boston came out pretty good in the first. Jaylen Brown got hot. Tatum just did normal Tatum things, nothing crazy. But it looked like the first half, especially the first quarter, was leaning more towards Boston, and they just couldn't keep up. Outside of Jaylen Brown, really, the offense wasn't doing too much. And once he got cold, the Magic took over. I think we held Boston to 96 points, which is their lowest total of the year. So whoever thinks that the Magic was just getting up for Boston, we had just beaten Denver a couple nights before. We played with the same intensity on defense. That's just how Mosley, who a lot of other coaches are really praising now. A lot of people around the league are really praising Jamal Mosley for how he has these guys playing defense. And that's the reason why I don't think this winning streak is a fluke. Is because our defense, our ability to get points in the paint, our ability to get to the line, and our ability to out rebound the other team is turning into a lot of wins and dominant wins. And it's not. We never got too far down against Boston. We got, I think it was like a 10-point lead Boston got early, and then after that, it was pretty competitive in the second half. Denver was a back and forth game almost the entire game, and most of the other teams were up during halftime. So I don't think this is a fluke. I don't know if they can hold the number two spot, but the Magic are going to be competitive all season, and after their hot start, I really believe that they can sustain a top six playoff spot. I think they skip the step where they're going to end up in the playing tournament. Personally,
Look at you. Skip the play-in spot, huh? Look at you. Well, This is what I'll say from what I've seen. No, they're playing great. They're playing big, which is important because, like I said, there's always a difference between being big and playing big. They're playing big, and I like the belief that they have in themselves right now. That Denver matchup was pretty big for them. Defeating the
Hmm.
defending champs. No, even though Denver's still without Jamal Murray, you still
Oh
have
yeah, yeah.
Jokic.
Boston fans threw out the injury excuse too. Please note the Magic are without starting point guard Markel Fultz, starting center Wendell Carter Jr., and in their place they had a rookie Anthony Black fill in, and they had a third string center who's been playing amazing defense for them. So nobody can use excuses for injuries, or as injuries as an excuse. Also, the Magic been one of the most hurt teams the last like 4 to 5 years. So Magic fans aren't hearing it either. You can be without Jamal Murray. We're without two starters too. Boston Celtics.
No,
You can have Porzingis come out and you can have Holiday miss the game. That's fine. We'll just call it even. We still beat you because you're a soft team. The Heat have exposed you because of how soft you are multiple years in a row. And if the refs hadn't saved you, you wouldn't have had much to show for it the last few seasons. I don't think
yeah.
Porzingis changed that. And I don't think Holiday changed that because your two stars are the ones who are soft.
Whew, you
Thank you.
feisty this morning. I didn't hear it personally. I didn't hear Denver talk about injuries. I'm just throwing that out there. I didn't hear that.
Just
But
saying,
Boston.
I've heard a lot of that, and we're not hearing it. Not hearing it.
I like this side of you, this feisty side of you. I like it. So, here are the hottest teams in the East. Of course, the Magic have won 6 straight games, but as always, we talk about the last 10. So this is impressive. The Celtics, the Magic, the Bucks, the Knicks, and the Heat are all 7-3 in their last 10 games. So that's pretty impressive. And Indiana is 6-4. The Philadelphia Sixers are 6-4. The Eastern Conference is strong, man.
It is.
It is strong, and it is exciting. So we're gonna segue into the kangaroo / elephant in the room. I will tell you, because of course I have to be dramatic and set this up. I slept for most of Thanksgiving like everyone else, and I woke up probably around 5 or 6 o'clock and started browsing on YouTube, and I saw this YouTube video about Josh Giddy ruining his NBA career, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? 10-minute video, and so I watched it, and I'm like, this can't be real. Like, this doesn't happen in the NBA. Like, what? And then I went on Twitter, of course, and started seeing people's reactions. I think I sent you the video. So yeah, really quick, just illustrate your first initial thoughts on, because I don't know if you heard it from me first or you saw it on Twitter before I did. What were your first initial thoughts when you saw like the headline that started trending on Thanksgiving Day?
That's really not a good look. That was my first initial reaction, especially from like a high profile athlete. So I mean, but I try not to jump to conclusions when there's still some, I guess, questions to be answered on this story. And so whether or not you agree or disagree with, his opinion on who should be available to him in terms of age, condemning him when you don't know the age at which they started, which could have been the real problem, not the current issue. I feel like if that's
Initial
just your
thought.
personal opinion, then it's.
Initial
I mean,
thoughts.
if I think he's an idiot. I think he's an idiot. Not because of what he did, but because of the access of what he has access to, and he wants to take even a small chance, right?
Okay.
So he could. What I'm saying is he could find this girl of age as an athlete. You can find whatever girl you want. So why even take the chance with the age thing? That's my whole thing. Is if it's legal, whatever, he shouldn't get in trouble. Whether or not you agree with it, I'm just saying. If I was him, I wouldn't even dabbled with. I would have just found someone a little bit older. That it just seems so dumb to me to take a chance when you have such a bright future.
All right. Long initial thoughts. we got a lot to unpack here. We do. So just to do the timeline of events, excuse me, I'm having TDs right now. Just to do the timeline of events, apparently some images were leaked on a unanimous, some bullshit ass Twitter account. Okay. That after the photos and shit was leaked, that Twitter account was deactivated. So here's the facts that we know. 90% sure he's hooked up with this girl. Gray area on if they're boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, gray area there. But based on photographic evidence, which again I'm going to bring back up, she bragged on her Snapchat about that she, and I'm just going to be real with it, that she just fucked Josh Giddy. That's what the caption says. So let's pause it right there. One, a young female would probably get off on the fact that she's fucking an NBA player. Let's just be real about it. Which induced her to share it on Snapchat to all of her friends. The mistake was sharing it on Snapchat to all of her friends because she probably has a hating ass friend who's jealous who captured this and got this whole ball rolling. All right, so as of right now, the young lady is 16, which is legal in Oklahoma. That is a fact. That's the way it is. A lot of people still don't know that each state has a different age of consent level. As we talked about offline, I believe whatever age it is, it should be the same across the board. In our state, it is Florida, it is 18. Different states should not have different ages of consent. That's just me. Sorry. Now, with that said, the NBA is investigating this because the question is, was their relationship when she was 15 versus her being 16 now? If he was fucking a 15-year-old, it's gross, it's disgusting. He needs to be thrown away. I get it. But it's going to be hard for the league to prove that, I think, that they had a relationship, before she was 16. To address what you said, you're absolutely correct. When you are a professional athlete, when you are a certain height, when you are a certain ethnicity, you have access to whatever you decide to have. I don't know why this particular girl caught his attention. I don't even know how this particular girl caught his attention. But as you said, it was a dumb move on his part. Because now it's being exposed. Now he is 21. I get it. It's not like we're talking about a 41-year-old man. I get it. He's 21. I get it. But it is bad optics. And apparently the Thunder are going to let him play through it until something comes down concrete from a legal standpoint. So, question for you. Are you okay with the Thunder still letting him play, or do you think they should kind of sit him for a little while? Fake injury or something.
I mean, if you're gonna have him on the team, you might as well let him play. They will have to deal with the social and the media backlash because regardless of what the law and the courts say, a lot of people have already judged him and written him off just because of what they already know about it. I mean, I saw on Twitter a video where someone posted, "Oh, this is disgusting." OKC fans cheering as they announced Giddy into the game.
Right.
Right. I'm just saying,
Oh yeah.
Karl Malone, had a very successful career. So that might not be enough for anything. I'm just saying it might be some backlash OKC has to deal with if they don't get rid of him. But besides that, honestly, if you're gonna have him on the team, you might as well play him. Don't sit him. I mean, I wouldn't. You're gonna deal with the backlash regardless, I think. So if you keep him playing, I mean, you might as well. You're just as hot as any other team in the league, and Giddy is an important part of that. If you're OKC, you want him on the court.
Okay. So to address the Karl Malone thing, from what I know of it, it didn't come out until the very end of his NBA career. Like a lot of people didn't even know what was going on with that. And I still don't think a lot of people believed it until after he was retired and his daughter from that illicit relationship was actually playing in the WNBA. And that's when people started to connect the dots. So after the fact of him not playing anymore, he caught heat, but he didn't catch heat while he was playing because it just wasn't out there. You know, the disgusting act wasn't out there. There's even rumors that it was a family member, to be perfectly honest with you. This is a little different because Giddy is still playing. I think they need to sit the kid until this is all figured out. And I'm not going to get on this podcast. I'm not going to get into the social issue with the OKC people cheering him, but it is a thing, and we may touch on it down the road. I'm not going to get into it today because I don't have the time. I don't have the time or the energy today to get into that. But you should know where I'm going with that. Because it was disgusting and it caught me off guard, but it shouldn't have caught me off guard. But with him currently playing, while he's being, and let's just be honest, while he's being investigated for a sex crime, he shouldn't be playing. He did make his comment where he's like, I'm not going to talk about it pretty much. I'm fine with that, but he shouldn't play. They should sit him until this investigation is over with. Okay.
I'd also, side note, not excusing him of anything, regardless of what happens. I would like to know kind of what the social context is on this situation with where he's from and how accepted or how frowned upon it is from the community that he grew up in, because I think that would also play a factor in it. Because just because something's legal here doesn't mean people, are happy about it. But, in different places, it might be downplayed way more. It might not be an issue at all. Even though the age of consent, I believe, in Australia is also 16. Just the situation in general might not be looked at in such a negative way. So I wonder if that will also play a part in it, where it's just like where he's from and what he's used to. It's maybe it's more common, or it's just not as frowned upon. Like I said, not excusing, but I'd like as a side note, see if that's like a factor.
As of right now, Josh Giddy hasn't broken any laws. As of right now, in the state of Oklahoma, he hasn't broken any laws. Now, if she traveled with him to, let's say, Florida, then he's broken the law. That would actually be considered sex trafficking. It really would. So it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack here. And like I said, we don't have all the information, but it is something that we have to talk about and something that we have to be responsible about, because as you said, different states, different countries have different ages of consent. But as of today, with what we know, Josh Giddy hasn't broken any laws. I still believe he shouldn't be playing, being investigated for a sex crime. That's all. Just throwing it out there, because we've seen players in the NBA the last couple of years get ostracized more for a lot less. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for this. And I'm going to pray to the basketball gods, because right now the NBA players are, but I'm going to pray to the basketball guards that a young man in Dallas is going to speak up and say something, and it's going to set the league on fire. Okay, so I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting.
I don't know where you're going with that at all.
Kyrie. I just said, I'm waiting for Kyrie to say something. I'm waiting for Kyrie to say something. With that bullshit Kyrie went through last season, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. And that's like I said, that's going to be a whole nother podcast for another day. God, please give it to me. Any other surprises that you've seen in the NBA so far, first month?
Surprises. I'm trying to think of any teams. As equally surprised as I am for the Magic start, it's not like I didn't think they would be good. I didn't know they would be this good so quickly. I know it's early, but I would have to say I feel the same way about Minnesota and OKC. Um, I thought they would be good. I didn't know they would all be this good. I didn't know Denver would be like what, number 5 or 6 in the West. I Even with a good record, it's just the West is tough. So I'm surprised that Minnesota and OKC are playing that well. Yes.
I'm surprised more so with Minnesota than I am with OKC. I haven't really seen a full sample size of Minnesota yet, and like I said, I'm going to give Denver a break because Jamal Murray hasn't been there for the last month, so I'm going to give them a break.
Also, the Suns is a bit of a surprise considering the amount of injuries they had to start the season. But like we've said before, they have to show us something in the playoffs because we're used to them being a successful regular season team. That's not necessarily surprising of the last, I don't know, since Devin Booker's been there, really.
Right. Yeah. Let me be unequivocally clear here. I don't give a fuck what Phoenix does in the regular season. I don't care. They can end the regular season. Number one, I am done with the Phoenix Suns. I am done. They fooled me. They're not going to fool me again. I am done with that team. I don't care if it's a new team now. I don't care if it's a new coach, new ownership. I don't care. Phoenix will always be false prophets. They will never win a championship. I'm sorry, people in Phoenix. I love you, but I hate that fucking team.
I'm surprised Houston's been as competitive as they are.
Coaching. Coaching, man. Ime's a great coach, man.
Oh yeah, it's easy with everything going on the last year to forget who's coaching Houston and why he was available for Houston to get.
Right.
What are the biggest surprises to you so far?
Minnesota's a surprise. The Magic we kind of saw, but I didn't know they were going to be this good. I still need to check out Atlanta, of course. The one game I saw for them, they played like trash. So I was like, okay, I got to see something else.
Mm-hmm.
But no, just Minnesota. That's shocking to me. That is shocking because they really didn't make any offseason changes to get better. It's like just the same team that they've had the last couple of years. So it's like, what is it? So I really have to watch and pay attention to that. I will say this about Wemby because it looks like finally the media is kind of backing up a little bit, which they should have done.
They did it last year before it even got going.
Well, they're back. They're backing up now. They're backing up now because the Spurs are absolute garbage.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to say he's not going to be a great player because his trajectory is still that he's going to be a great player. But I'm just happy that they backed up a little bit and they're not force feeding Wemby down our throat because the Spurs are atrocious. They're absolutely atrocious.
They should show the Magic some of those nationally televised games now that they see the Spurs are trash. Now, the Spurs have so many televised games just because of Victor that it's kind of insane.
Right. It's disgusting to be quite frank.
Yes.
And then OKC actually being as high as they are, second in the West right now, is pretty good. Because I saw them being a play-in, I didn't see them being that far. And as far as Memphis, of course, I got to give my boy Pat a shout out because he said it was going to be trash, and I didn't believe it. I still thought they had enough to be like 500 until Ja got back. What are your thoughts on Memphis? I mean, this is just nothing but the basketball gods just humbling the fuck out of that team. But
they had a lot of things going against them. You know, I do know they got rid of Dylan Brooks, of course, which nobody was a fan of on that team.
But was that the right choice?
This is gonna haunt Ja's legacy because if Ja's on that team, they're not this bad. I'm sorry, they're just not. I know they've had injury issues. I know they've had other issues as well, but this is on Ja Morant's shoulders. Their season's done. Their season's already in the tank. I don't know what else to say other than this should be the biggest slap in the face, the continuing slaps in the face for Ja Morant in terms of his decision making and what it's led to. Because not only did he ruined an entire season for a fan base, for his teammates, for the entire coaching staff. He ruined so much, and I know we weren't able to see how bad it was going to be until it got going. Well, now we see. Now we see just how bad it is. And so, for the people, you hate to hear that people have been rooting against players or teams, but with the reputation Memphis was creating for itself, both on and off the court, there's a lot of people that, like you, is like, well, is this karma? Is this the basketball gods? Just teaching them a lesson. So, hopefully the point finally got across to Ja after it seemed like it may not have last year. But this long suspension and the whole season being done basically because of it, hopefully finally the point got across and some people learned their lessons, because you hate to see it from like a Memphis fan's perspective. Like you would hate to see it.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ask, in terms of who's in the play-in tournament right now and who's even out of it a little bit, who are you most worried about that's hasn't had a great start? Is it the Clippers? I know you're never worried about Golden State. Is it the Pelicans on paper should have been better? I know McCollum's going to be out because he had was it a lung issue? Deflated lung?
Yeah.
Or collapsed lung, I'm sorry.
Lung.
I know the Lakers are more or less trending back in the right direction. But who do you think's underperforming the most in both conferences right now?
I need my Wizards to step
Oh, they're not underperforming. That's where we thought they'd be. Come on.
No, they're out of the play-in. I picked the Wizards to be in the play-in. I need them to get into the play-in. I need that to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen this year.
I am not. Listen to me. I am not giving up on Jordan Poole. I'm not doing it. Okay. I need him to get his shit together.
That's really fine. It ain't happening. It ain't happened for Washington in over a decade. It ain't happening.
I need Jordan Poole to get his shit together because he played great in the preseason. Then the regular season hits and just like he's gone. All right. In the Western Conference, I mean, Golden State's in the play-in right now. Like you said, I'm never worried about Golden State. The Clippers, I'm pissed off, and we talked about this offline. I'm pissed off because Russell Westbrook was playing his best basketball in a couple of years. He moved himself to the bench to accommodate James Harden, which I totally disagreed with. They're 4-6 in their last 10. I think Harden's been there now for about 7 games. So they still have a lot to figure out. But they were okay without James Harden. They just weren't.
Yeah, they were.
So that kind of just it threw me off. Because I think they're almost perfect without him. And now that he's there, they have to acquiesce to him, which is like, no, you shouldn't do that. He should try to fit in with them versus them trying to fit in with him. That's just the way it is. So I don't know now how the Clippers are going to end up, because we both know he will disappear in the playoffs. He every year he does it. So I don't know, but I need the Wizards to get into the plan. I need that for my soul.
The Pelicans kind of remind me of the Bulls, and I know McCollum being hurt is a bit of an excuse, but I mean the Pelicans have some real talent on that team, and they're just not having the type of success I think they would hope. Them and the Bulls are, for the amount of talent, you would just think the teams would be doing better. So I could really see the Bulls. I mean, the rumors have been swirling for a while now, multiple seasons even. I could really see the Bulls blowing it up, but I mean, the Pelicans as well. I don't know if they're on the same trajectory in terms of how quick they blow it up, but something about New Orleans just smells like the Bulls situation to me, where for one reason or another, they're not able to capitalize on the talent there, and they're just pretty much swimming in mediocrity right now.
Yeah, and really quick, Cleveland is another one of those teams to watch out for because there may be some moves made there. Just throwing that out there. Maybe some moves made there in Cleveland.
Toronto as well.
What's that?
Toronto as well. Lots of rumors that Toronto could blow it up.
I don't care about Toronto. What are they blowing up? The trash anyway. What the fuck are they blowing up? The trash. Fuck Toronto.
Someone would like Siakam.
No, he's trash. He's a good player on a bad team that makes him look decent. Fuck that. Yeah, I fucking look. They should not just blow Toronto up. They should contract them. They shouldn't even be a fucking NBA team at this point. Okay.
Oh, you saying you should move them to Seattle?
Move them wherever. And they're being sued by the Knicks right now. A lot of people don't know that, but the fucking Knicks are suing the Raptors because one of the Knicks ex-employees is now working with the Raptors and took a lot of video footage and a lot of analytics from New York to Toronto. They're being fucking sued right now by the Knicks. Like, for real. I kid you not. This is real.
Do you think the Knicks or Indiana are real?
Yeah. New York is real. Indiana, I'm not never gonna say anything bad about Tyrese Halliburton, but they have to prove it in the playoffs. So, and I'm speaking of Indiana, they have to prove it in the playoffs. The Knicks have. They, last year they beat Cleveland in the first round. So yeah. Really quick, I'm just gonna throw up this headline and then we're gonna wrap it up. But for our viewers who we love, just know that we know things. And there it is. First time probably seeing it on the Hardwood Nation podcast. One team suing another team. It is real. Okay. Now,
outside of tampering, like usually that's all we see, that the teams get upset with each other or something. But yeah, usually we don't see a straight up lawsuit.
So the Knicks have actually asked the courts, because technically speaking, the NBA commissioner should be the arbitrator. But the Knicks are saying that because the NBA commissioner is so close to the Raptors owner, because the Raptors owner is the head of the NBA governors, that Commissioner Silver shouldn't even be the arbitrator. Like New York's getting nasty with it. They're pissed off.
Yeah.
They're pissed the fuck off. Like, who knows? And then another thing about one last thing about the Josh Giddy situation before we wrap up. We have to remember that the NBA is a private entity. Now, they do have to follow state laws. They do. They have to follow national laws, of course. But then they can also impose their own rules based on what they deem to be correct or deem to be incorrect. So, yeah, this is a tricky situation. I know the Players Association is looking like... And another unknown fact. Kudos to Andre Iguodala, because he's not the head of the players end of the association. He's now the head of the entire Players Association. So kudos to him. He's the executive director now, which in my lifetime, an NBA player has never been that. It's always been like a lawyer or something like that. So kudos to Andre Iguodala for that.
Low-key, you know who's really excited about the Josh Giddy story?
Who was that?
Dwight Howard. For the shift of focus back on to someone else. Because he's been catching a lot of heat the past, month. Everybody's been taking shots at Howard.
I mean, he don't have to tell people where he put his wood at. Ain't that what he said? That's his words.
It's pretty straightforward what was said. Yeah.
I'm just saying, he don't have to tell people where he put his wood at. This throwing it out there. And to address this, Dwight Howard has been accused of flying at one point young girls into Florida. So it's just like, by the force of the Orlando Magic, that story didn't get out. Locals knew it, but it didn't make national news. How the fuck did OKC let this get out? They had to. If
they had to have known, they had to have known
who your star is dating, right? You have to know who your star is dating. For them to not be able to get ahead of this, and they can't say there because it's a small market, because Orlando's a small market, and God knows they protected Dwight from a lot.
If anything, you have to be more careful in a small market. If anything, you gotta be more careful in a small market.
This Giddy thing is not over, man.
No.
This is not over. So, on that note, drop comments below. Tell us if you support Josh Giddy or if you think he's disgusting. we will respond to all comments. And thank you for the fans that had the open debate on Twitter about, X about this situation. Bryce, I don't know if you saw it. I forgot to tell you to look at it. But we had some comments on there about the situation. So yeah.
Nice.
Please like, subscribe, and share our content. We love you all. And everyone be safe.